So this video is all about frankincense, one of my all-time favorites. I could talk about this for hours and hours, so I'll try and keep this short. So doTERRA's frankincense has a unique blend of 3 species of frankincense tree. Now the frankincense tree grows only in the desert, so it's a little bit like a pine, and the frankincense is actually the sap. So if you cut the bark, the sap will ooze out in what's called tears. You have to come back a few days later and collect those, cut it again, just scrape the bark, and more sap will come out, etc. So it's quite a long, slow process. It grows in Oman and Somalia, mostly that's where doTERRA gets the frankincense from. And to collect it, you need to wander around the desert for months at a time, living in caves, climbing up steep cliffs in the rocky slopes where the trees like to grow. And to harvest them sustainably, you really ought to be harvesting only once every 2 years. But in some areas, they have harvested twice a year because they are desperate to make the money, and then the trees can die as a result. So frankincense trees can live, we don't know how long, 800, 1,000 years, we really don't know how long some of them live. They're pretty ancient. So it's quite a tragedy when they die from over-harvesting. So what doTERRA do is, what they have done is cut out all the middlemen. Now, the frankincense trail is thousands of years old, and there are so many middlemen along the way. And what's happening for the harvesters is that they are getting the worst deal out of all of them. And quite often they're not even paid at all. So what doTERRA has done is gone straight to the harvesters, asked them, how much do we need to pay you so that you can afford to harvest the trees sustainably and look after them for the future for all of our benefit. And in effect, they're now paying them per month more than what sometimes they may have received in a whole year. Well, the other thing doTERRA has done with their co-impact sourcing, I'll post a video about this, there's lots of information, I just love this story, is they have insisted that the women get paid exactly the same as the men, and that's quite unheard of in some of these rural communities in Somalia. So it's the women's job, once the men have collected it, it's the women's job to sit and sift through all the different size grains, to pick out the bits of leaves or insects that have got mixed up in there, and to grade them according to quality. And that's long, painstaking work, and they used to have to do it in really poor conditions with no running water, no toilets, and whilst caring for their children at the same time. So doTERRA now has come in and built them custom-made shelter with toilets, with running waters, and with a school next door. And it's not only that they insist the women are paid exactly the same as the men for their work in producing frankincense, they also insist that the girls go to school just the same as the boys. So doTERRA is radically changing the lives with every single drop of frankincense that is produced in rural parts of the world that really need this kind of support and this kind of work, frankly. So that's not even getting to the benefits of using the oil. This is an ancient oil. It has so many anti-inflammatory properties that I can't even begin to list here. If you go to PubMed, which is a standard website, it's a database for published medical research. The last I looked for frankincense and cancer, there was over 88 studies. So there's a lot of conventional medical interest in the use of frankincense, not just the oil but also the resin in powdered form usually, so which doTERRA also use in their supplements. So it's a wonderful, wonderful oil. So I like to use it, I'm here in Sweden, I love to use it in the sauna. It's the ultimate luxury. So I'll just put a few drops on myself. I don't like to put it on the heat because it's just too good quality. I mean, you can do that, it just kind of burns it up. Put it on the hot stones and it makes the sauna smell amazing. I like to just put it on me while I'm sweating there. It all just absorbs into me, and it still makes me and the sauna smell and feel amazing. Wonderful to put on your skin for any kind of burns or any kind of infection. It's often used in anti-aging creams by many different companies, but this is the real deal, this is the source, and it's so powerful and yet so gentle that you can literally use it neat right around your eyes, and I don't feel any irritation at all. I can feel it, that it's there and it's doing something, but it's not going to sting or burn or irritate or cause any problems. So a lot of people use it around the eyes for the vanity of it, for the beauty properties, and then they may find that actually you need to go back to the optometrist and get a new prescription if you wear glasses, because it may have actually healed your eyesight, not just the skin around your eyes. So frankincense, I love it. Oops, sorry, I've dropped it. It's amazing. I caught it. Oh, and it's so wonderful for meditation. So diffuse if you are feeling stressed and just need to be more grounded and yet want to feel uplifted at the same time. So using it in your yoga practice with put a drop of frankincense in your palm and then do your alternate nostril breathing. Absolutely out of this world. It feels so heavenly. And finally, for headaches, if I have a headache, I very rarely get a headache, but when I do, I like to put a drop of frankincense right under my tongue. It's quite strong, but it's not unpleasant. Again, please do not try this with any other brand of oil. But I'll put it under my tongue, rub a bit in my hand, inhale it, and then rub the rest on my head, scalp, temples, wherever it is I'm feeling the pain. And honestly, within minutes, it's just gone. So final word of warning, Dr. Robert Pappas, who is a PhD in essential oil chemistry, he is the leading independent researcher in this subject. He founded Essential Oil University, and he has an independent laboratory that tests for the quality and purity of essential oils. He has found that most essential oil brands selling frankincense on the market are frankly nothing to do with frankincense. He has found turpentine being sold as frankincense. One of the key chemical compounds found in frankincense, I think it's one of the alpha-pinene, is quite similar to one of the key chemical compounds found in turpentine. Turpentine is also natural, but it's much cheaper to produce, so they will just cut the frankincense with turpentine and then sell it on cheaply. And also most frankincense you buy off the shelf for maybe £4.50, it's diluted in a carrier oil. It's maybe 95% or more carrier oil that goes rancid very quickly, doesn't have the therapeutic quality. It may well be cut with turpentine, which is very, very toxic, and you do not want to be shaking that into your mouth. It will say in big letters on the label, do not use internally, whereas doTERRA's will say it's a supplement. You can use it as a supplement. It's certified pure, therapeutic grade, has amazing benefits for everyone in the supply chain, from the growers, the women, the family, the children in Somalia and other countries where this is grown. And it has the benefits for you that you just will not get from a diluted, adulterated, turpentine off-the-shelf frankincense. Even if it says 100% natural, organic, whatever, he has still found when he tested those to be adulterated and not worth the money, even if they're really, really cheap. So frankincense is one of the most expensive oils that doTERRA do, but honestly it is worth it for every single